here is kind of my representation of it. Ray's going to be helping out. But first and foremost, I'll go fast. There's a lot of ideas. But what if you could get just one idea in the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes that gets you one extra deal a month? I think we'd all agree this is probably worthwhile. And we're going to give you several ideas about working your database. But as I tell everybody, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and this ain't show and tell. So feel free to jump in and add your comments, ask your questions. We are friends, and there's no judgment here. If you don't feel it's a stupid question, we're just here trying to help each other. That's all this is. So with that said, let's jump in. And I think of the business as 3 different types of leads, and we'll get into the different types of leads, but what you're trying to do is fill a funnel. And so that you've got enough business coming in. And if you keep the funnel full, you've got a great steady flow of business, and you got leads that are 90 days out or more. And they're kind of a C lead. Doesn't make them bad, it's just C lead. And then B leads are kind of 60 to 90 days out. They're getting a little warmer. And then A leads 30 to 60 days. Now you can label these whatever you want. But those that are ready to look or ready to sell, and those getting 30 to 60, they have more urgency. Schools, they want to get moved before schools, they coming to town, whatever the reasoning is, they have more urgency. So we need to stay focused on them, but at the same time, we need to have systems and processes that nurture these other leads and because pretty soon they'll become A and B leads, and they'll become A leads, and then be ready and hot. And as long as you're doing that, it's great. So here's the 3 types of leads. And you may look at it a different way, and if you do, I'd love for you to share it. It's just kind of the way I think about it. But there's your referral base, your database, your friends, your family, your area contacts, the people who know you and love you and respect you. And what we find is they convert at about 25 to 30%, 40%. I've seen as high as 50%, but I'd be conservative, call it 25 to 35%. Then there's your consumer direct leads. Now, today we're not talking about those, but just kind of categorize them. Those would be people who come directly to an open house or your sign or your website. And that sort of traffic. In other words, they're actively looking for real estate help and expertise. And in doing so, they find you, and those will convert at about 15 to 20%. And then there's the web advertising leads, Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook leads, and there's a lot of those. I get 2 or 3 Facebook leads a day, and I've got a phone. It asks, are you working with a realtor? You'll be amazed how many of them are not working with a realtor. But the challenge is they convert at 1 to 2%. And what I find, let's just open this up. I'd love a discussion. Do you think it's fair? What we tend to do is look for that new shiny bullet that's going to solve all our problems. And we'll spend money on Zillow, and we'll spend money on web advertising and Facebook, and we have a tendency to avoid or not work our database, at least the way we should. Is that fair? Ray, making sense to you?
Makes a lot of sense. The best leads are the third-party testimonials, worked with you before. Friends and family know your credibility and your integrity. Those are the kind of leads that are going to stick,
Absolutely. And so, guys, my whole point I'm trying to make here is to get 1 extra deal a month is so much easier from our database and our referrals we get from our database than it is to spend thousands of dollars on web advertising and trying to get those. They're nice to get. Again, put them in the funnel. A percentage of them will come through, but it's really as you build the relationship with them. Those 1 to 2% leads, the way you get the business is you build a relationship, because this is a relationship business. And so with that, there's a survey that's been done, I've seen it a couple different ways, is that 80% of consumers say they will do business with the same real estate agent and refer business to them, but unfortunately only 11% do. Now, why is that? I believe it's because we don't stay in touch, we don't maintain the friendship, we don't continually contact, and the average agent knows about 300 people in their community. It may be 250, it may be 400, but on average, and they say funeral directors and people who plan catering, the average, people inviting people to weddings, it's about 300 people. And if you think about it, if 10% of the population is having life changes that require sale or purchase of real estate, out of that 300, that's, all of a sudden 30% of that's 9 transactions a year. If 10% of 300, let's see, I got my wording's wrong on the slide, but my math is wrong. But if you did 10% of 300, that is 30 transactions is what eliminate that percentage sign. And if you only got out of that 30% of that 30, it's an extra 9 transactions a year, right? Because they convert differently. And the chance that what we have a tendency to think is, I just sold them a house. I just listed their house. They just sold, they just moved, they just bought. But guys, remember that the house stays stagnant, the mortgage stays stagnant, but life changes constantly. People get sick, COVID, divorce, kids going to college, different needs are happening. So really, you ever move into a house and go, man, I wish we had this, or I wish we had done that, right? So our needs are constantly changing. And then the other thing that we should remember is that they say the average person that's in your database knows 4 other people in the next 12 months who will be buying or selling. Well, that's 1,200 transactions then, potentially. But again, I think, so my whole point is getting an extra 1 deal a month, if we can find a way to work the database, the business is there. Is that making sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you? Matt, it does to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Shay, how about you? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Good deal. So with that, let's get into some of the things we should be doing. Building and retention, this database is important, but have you ever had anybody say, oh my gosh, Chelsea, I forgot you're I just bought or I just sold. You guys ever have that happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, and you go, but shame on us because we didn't stay top of mind.
Right.
Shame on us. That was our fault. But I hate it because then you got to say, but Mom, no. I'm just kidding. So that's the whole point. People are busy and they are bombarded by information and they got a million things going on. And so they're going to take the easiest route and whatever tends to be in front of them. And our objective needs to be, when they think of real estate, they think of you or they think of me, right? They think of us when they think of real estate. And to do that, it's more than, we may think that, oh, well, they know I'm in the business, they'll think of me. Ain't gonna happen. They're busy. You know, have you ever been in a relationship, maybe your spouse, your kids, or anybody, or maybe it was you with your spouse and kids, and you're feeling some way like you need something, again, you got a need that's not being met, or you need something, but they had no clue because they didn't tell you or you didn't tell them, right? And we think because we're doing Facebook, posts, that helps, but they may think, well, they got all the business they need. If we told them, I'm counting on you to help me build my business, they hear how hard you're working. They may not want to bother you unless you're constantly reminding them. And so what I call this the Coca-Cola theory. Coca-Cola advertising all the time, right? Or the beer commercials, or, do you ask for tissue or you ask for Kleenex? The reason the truck manufacturers are on the sports scene, you're watching Sunday football and man, that commercial plays and then it plays again 10 minutes later, right? They just ran that thing. Why do they do that? They're trying to embed in the brain. Nike, I heard one of the executives say, we're really not in the athletic wear or sneaker business. We're in the advertising business, and our wares and the way we get our money is through athletic wear. But if you think about it, it's all about their promotion. And by the way, guys, Ray Daniels is one of the best loan officers, real estate people I know. I've known 30 years. He's a dear friend of mine. He is an expert at reverse mortgages. I'll let him tell you that at the end. But Ray, talk about this because you taught me. He was a mentor to me, and you were doing so well. And I said, how do you do it? And you kind of said something like, well, I just try to be everywhere all the time.
That's true. The old saying is out of sight, out of mind. In the old days, it used to be face-to-face, relationships, going to open houses, going to meetings, going to title company parties, going to, the Chamber of Commerce, the garden club in your community, every place that you can go where you can brand yourself as the real estate person in your community, that's going to stick with people. Kevin and I went to a marketing conference a long time ago, 1981, I believe, in Cabo San Lucas with Deborah Jones, and she used to always talk about buying brain cells. So you want your name in somebody's head. When somebody says real estate, they think of you first. So that's got to be reinforced over and over again with your picture, your face. Once COVID's over, we'll get back to our regular PR in person with people. That's the best way, I think. Because we do get hundreds of emails per day. So the chance of having email, yes, they see your name, they see your face, they see your company, and they have a way to get a hold of you. So,
exactly.
People used to say the top producers are lucky. How else could they do $10 million a month in production?
Yeah.
Well, the reason you get lucky is that you go to enough places and meet enough people that they think of you at that one moment when they're making a buying decision. So get your face out there.
Yeah, exactly. You can't, and it doesn't have to be, and we're going to talk about some nice ways to do this. But again, to Ray's point, you want to buy brain cells, be there again and again and again. So when they think of real estate, they think of you. But what do we typically see? And I'm not picking on anybody here, guilty as charged, myself in the past, but you may have a CRM. Some of you guys will have a CRM. And you may be getting emails, but are they getting texts? Are they getting snail mail? Are they getting calls? Are they getting visits? That's what we need to do. And I have a guy that I coach in the mortgage business. and he sent me this. I'm sorry for the splotches on it. That's how he sent it to me. But he had this deal to judge whether he had a relationship. He's in South Carolina, and he said, you know, are they in my phone as a current contact? Are my friends on Facebook? Are we connected on LinkedIn? Have I been to their office or have they been to mine? Have I met their spouse or partner? Have I attended an event they hosted or I hosted? Have, you know, we been to each other's personal homes? Have I given a gift to them or they given a gift to me? Have I been invited, you know, to the personal home for an event? And his question, his theory was, if I said no to more than 5 of these, they're really more an acquaintance. I don't really have a relationship. So I think, and his name's Jason Sharon. Jason's a great guy. But the whole point is, are we building relationships and watching out? And these people want our expertise. I mean, and as our friends, we should be watching out for them. That's what our objective is. It's what our license is all about. And so this, though, is really fascinating. I want to ask you guys, out of this, what do you think is there's text, email, snail mail, video, face-to-face, phone conversations, or voicemail? If you were to pick the number one, which one do you think is the most effective?
Face to face.
Face to face.
That's exactly right. Face-to-face is number one. That's very smart. Good for you. What do you think's number two?
Phone.
Yeah, that's right. Good deal. So we got to always be asking, am I doing enough face-to-face? Am I doing enough phone conversations? What do you guys think is next?
Snail mail.
Probably video.
Video.
Yeah, maybe a video.
Text.
Really?
Really, that's the surveys. This is what they, and if you think about it, they say 90% of texts are answered like within a couple of minutes.
Oh,
What do you think's next?
me and video. Really?
Snail mail has so few people are doing it now.
Yeah.
And then email. Now video does improve. Video, whether it's in a text or in an email, text is pretty high open rate anyways, but email, the open rate on email is only like about 30%. Most people, if they're so busy, they're reading the headlines, right? But if you put a video in there and it's like 1 minute, you'll double your open rate on your email. It's pretty cool. And so we're going to show you some things there. But how are most of us marketing to our database? Email.
Facebook.
Yeah. It doesn't make us bad. It's just, you know, but think about it. So what we really want to do is use different medias because different people, and because of their time, receive different messages in different ways. And you want to hit them in all different ways to help buy those brain cells and get your best chance of being seen and heard. So,
Kevin,
yeah.
my broker up in Michigan, at the Michigan office, he uses snail mail all the time, and he's very successful. And he'll send out postcards with a baby crying, saying, please help me. I need to get listings. I have buyers that want to buy. And he'll pick up listings from those mailings. I mean, it's amazing. He's really good at snail mail.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to show you some snail mail tricks to make it easy for you guys. So here's a way, think about this. If you were to have your consumer in your CRM, your database, and you did an annual review one-on-one with them about their real estate needs once a year, you could also do an event. People like to do events. That's cool. And you got to be there. But think about email, snail mail, and I'm going to touch on all these. What you want to do is 52 times a year an email, 6 to 12 times a year snail mail a card. And I'm going to show you something there. Now, Facebook ads we'll talk about, because you can target people with your Facebook ads, and you could make a group and then just go in and make comments on Facebook. You can send them a text, and we're going to talk about making it easy once a month. Do a quarterly call, and there's a thing called Dr. Butler I'm going to touch on, and a voice blast. It goes directly to their voicemail. So my point is, you or somebody else that's assisting you, because some of you have assistants, which is good, they can help you do all this so you're not spending all your time. Literally, you can do all this hour or two a week. And it goes out, and then you're back into listing and selling and talking to people. What do we say? Face to face on phone. And so that's what I want to run through. But versus just sending a bunch of emails, if you had a group of ways to contact people, you're going to build your relationship, and they'll start thinking of you. And of course, past clients, friends, it's amazing as we coach different people, how many people go, well, my database, I got all my clients in there. Well, what about your friends? Well, they know I'm in the business, or my family. Guys, you got to put everybody you know in there. And the other is your soccer team buddies. You know, if you're a soccer mom, people from church, different organizations you belong to. Again, there's about 300 people you probably know in the community. And if you don't know that many, you'll want to start building those relationships. So, Ray, anything you think I'm missing so far?
And you're doing a good job of covering a lot of areas. Key is execution. You can't just think about it. Tony Robbins always said, get off the couch. You know, not much is going to happen if you're on the couch watching TV during a pandemic. So, you know, what I do sometimes is pick up my iPhone and start calling people on a face-to-face conversation with actually their picture and my picture talking to each other. I think that's pretty powerful. People, they're shocked that you do it, number one.
Yeah.
But you can actually, you know, they can see you, you can see them, you can ask them how they're doing and how things going with the pandemic and in their business world. You know, people like to be cared about as well as cared for, you know.
That's well said. Absolutely. What about the rest of you? Any thoughts or comments on what we covered so far? Because the rest of it, I'm just going to touch on some tools you should think about. But is this making sense, or do you have questions or anything you'd share what's worked for you? Thank you, Francis. You got it. I like that thumbs up.
Well, I agree. I just do the newsletters through email, but I guess I need to maybe start mailing into their house if snail mail is working.
Yeah, let me show you a couple ideas too on snail mail.
Okay.
It's really pretty easy. So yeah, obviously a CRM, and there's a lot of them out there. I get nothing from anybody. I'm not going to push one or the other. And I'm not a very techie person, but you know, many of them have all these different tools attached. But if you need to, you can get the tools separately. But Lion Desk is one of the big ones coming on. Agent Legend, because it will do email and text, both of these. Pipedrive's a very $15 a month or something. You can go in and kind of create your own databases the way you want them and group people. It's pretty cool. AM Cards is a snail mail service I use. And they've got all these thank you cards, holiday cards. And what it is you sign up and they take your real signature. You can upload your picture if you want. You can pick the card, and 90% of the cards are blank inside. So what happens is I just sent out these two cards to agents I work with. I'm in the mortgage business, so the agents I work with. But in the inside, the message is simple. Hey, something like, I was just thinking about you, or a sincere thank you, or hey, just, I like you. It doesn't have to be a lot. But what's cool about this, I got the worst handwriting in the world. It is the worst chicken scratch you've ever seen. People couldn't read it. And what they do is they have fonts that look like handwriting. So you can sit, literally, you go online, you pick out the card, and you type it up. It'll look like it's written. And then because they have you add your signature, it's your real signature in there. And by what you write, the person knows you're sincere with it, especially if it's a thank you note of something that just happened. And then you click send, and they go ahead and prepare the card and send it off snail mail. Put a stamp on it, prepare the card, and do it for you. I think it's $32 a month minimum, but it's like $2 a card or something like that. And the $32 goes towards cards. This deal is a no-brainer. It is a great way to stay in touch and also get you to, the beauty about cards is somebody sends you a card, nobody does it anymore. They sit on your desk, right? You get reminded again and again, you're buying brain cells. So I love once a month getting out some snail mail along with daily thank you notes.
Kevin, do you do your entire CRM every month, or do you split it up?
No. I unfortunately, because my CRM has thousands of people in it.
Uh-huh.
And so I've got what I call my buddies group, my closest friends and dear people I like to do business with, and I send it to them, and it costs me a couple $100 a month. Okay. Sly broadcast. Some people don't like this, and I didn't like it at first because it seemed sneaky, but somebody taught me how to do it, and it works great. Sly broadcast is a service. I think it's $50 or $75 a month. But what you do is you record a voicemail, and then you load up your list into it, and it will send it out, and the phone doesn't ring. It goes directly to their voicemail. But because I do a lot of talking directly with people, but sometimes I'll have a message I want to send folks, and I just tell them, hey, I didn't want to interrupt your day, so I'm just leaving you a voicemail. So they know I purposely, in sending them a voicemail, and I just wanted to let you know, blah, blah, blah. Hey, by the way, please don't keep me a secret or keep us in mind. Simple things like that. So what if you did your email in a snail mail, and one of these once a month, in between the times you actually talk one-on-one with a person? Again, you're buying brain cells in a very positive, but very sincere way. And if you're sincere with your broadcast, but you can send this broadcast out to your 300 people. So you record the message once and load up the list, it goes. That doesn't take you long at all. Bomb video. Some of you guys get my bomb. I'll send you an email, and sometimes I'll do just out to the group a bomb video. This, man, look at this face. There, Kevin Costner is not worried about his job, is he? Right? And it takes you a little while to get used to doing your own videos. People, well, I don't want to be on video. Look at all you guys. You won't even be on video. You're hiding there doing something else. I'm just giving you a hard time. But my point is, get used to it because people love you for who you are. You're more awesome than you believe you are. And the open rates on emails, I do with like mortgages. I'll sit and I'll plan out somebody's mortgages and their whole what they should be doing, and I'll put it together and I'll email them with a video, and people love it. This is a couple $100 a year subscription for the whole year.
Wow.
That's a good deal. I'm telling you, consider bomb video. Facebook group, what you can do, and I just started working on this because I'm not very good, and I don't go into Facebook a lot. But put your database in a group within your Facebook group, And then what you can do for literally pennies a day, you can run messages to them and it'll come up in their feed. But if you got other people like, beside your database that are in your Facebook group, but you really got a group that you're working, right? I've got a lot. I think I got 1,300 friends on Facebook or something. But how close, right? They're not my real database or my close friends. They're nice people, every one of them. I hope you're in there with me, and I hope we get to be closer. But my point is you can separate them out and take that group and send one message to the group. Takes you a few minutes. The messages, what do you send? Whether it's snail mail, voicemail, bomb video, Facebook. Some people, man, you can talk about real estate all day long. I can talk about mortgages, and I send out some of those messages. But I'm a big believer in, relationships. So short, sweet, and sincere, and be yourself. We all think we've got to be this supermodel or this super well-spoken. Don't try to be somebody you're not. As a buddy, one of my coaches, Carl White, told me, he said, whenever you got a large group of people and you're dealing with, what you want is that 25 to 50% that love you and like you no matter what. And you can goof up, and I goof up all the time, But like Carl says, he says, you could be in front of 100 people and get up there and do armpit farts. And a lot of them would go, that's the dumbest thing. But if that's who you really are, man, there's going to be probably 10 or 20 people and go, hey, that's pretty cool. My point is let's work with the people that like us and trust us, because it makes life so much better. And then every day, look at your database. If you ever read the book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, you call 2 letters in the alphabet every day, right? Or take it once a week. What if you did that? If you took 1 week and took 2 letters, right? Every single quarter, then you would, but literally make a phone call to them. I'm not saying snail mail, voice bomb. Literally just called and said, hey, I'm just checking in. I was thinking about you, as like Ray said, about COVID. You don't have to talk about real estate, And then at the end, you can have, and I've got a couple of lines here in a minute for you to think about, but just touch base with them. You'll be surprised. Alice Duffy told me she had 8 transactions, I think it was last month. She told me right now, for about every 5 people I call and touch base with, about every 5th person I get a lead. That I thought was high, but man, I'm glad to hear she's doing it. The other thing she does is she looks at her lists every day, besides calling the people for whatever couple letters that week she's working on, and she just asks herself, who might need my help? And she kind of thinks of what she remembers and from her notes what's going on in their life. Because we all get leads and we forget to follow up, or people we know, or, again, we're busy, they're busy. Some simple things to say. Hey, I just call, I was thinking of you. You're awesome, and I'm glad you're in my life. We should be grateful for all those wonderful people in life. Man, as the older I get, the more grateful I am. You help me feed my family, and I truly appreciate you. And every one of you that have been sending me, I do appreciate you. You help me feed my family. I'm so honored when that happens. I can't think of anything better. Man, it's just awesome to me. And then you can always, at the end of every conversation, hey, do you know anybody that you care about who's going to be needing real estate expertise in the next 6 to 9 months? Or these next 2 are really important. I hope you'll learn these lines. They'll change your life. They'll get you business if you do this. Get used to it. Just say, friend, I know you're awesome. I'm glad you're my. Did you know I'm counting on you to help me build my business? That's going to get them thinking, because most of them don't know you're counting on them. We got to remind them. And the other one, the biggie, you see, I got it highlighted here. Hey, Ray, can I count on you to share with me, anybody you know in your sphere, over the next few months that's thinking of buying or selling? Psychologists have done these tests, and they say there's something about the words, can I count on you? If you're having a conversation with somebody and you say, can I count on you? And they go, yes, it plants a seed of obligation in their mind. Can I count on you? Don't just say, hey, send me this or do that. Say, can I count on you, and get that obligation. Who is asking a question? Somebody saying something?
I said something, but it didn't mean anything.
Okay.
I've got something else I'd like to mention.
Go ahead, Ray.
That I be very helpful to everyone. Back over the last 2 or 3 years, every transaction that you have closed, listing, sales side, write down where you got those transactions in terms of who gave you the referral, how did you get that lead, where did it come from, and that will help you identify those spheres of influence that you need to spend more time focusing on.
Oh, that's an awesome point.
Because, you'll be very surprised at where your business comes from. But if you go through and analyze all of your listings and all of your sales, it will tell you who's important to you or who should be important to you and how you got that business.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I really like that. Okay, well, just a couple more slides. Just one thing you may want to think about, something we do, and it's been working really good, and I'm just going to touch on it, and you tell me, can reach out later. We do a thing with the agents we're working with called the CARE model, create a referable experience, and we're defining a successful transaction as we take care, both the agent and us on the mortgage side and the title. We kind of work in a triangle, create such an abundant, that we do such a good job at creating an abundance of referrals prior to the closing, because people are more, think about it. So one question you should ask yourself is, over your last 10 transactions, how many of them did you work hard enough that you deserved a referral? For most of us, that answer is going to be, well, hell, all of them, right? And then we got to ask ourselves the tougher question, which is, how many did we really receive? And so we work on a value proposition and a team approach and 5 celebration times that we're all asking, do they know anybody? And so if you'd want to know more about that, I'd be happy to share it with you. The other thing for your database I have for you as a treat, there's a tool called HomeBot. It's usually several $100s a month, but I've got a sponsorship license with it. And for $10 a month, you can take your entire database of friends, family, whatever, and they get sent every month an email with home value information. I'm going to share some slides right now, and a picture of you and your info. And what it does, it's been starting the best conversation. So like here's this one. The first slide they see is, have you had a CMA done recently? And then they click on preview the digest, and they can send it to friends or people. But what's interesting about it, once they go in there, it shows, and they typically, the first time they get it, they got to tune the value a little bit. But it shows the value of their house and their neighborhood in the area over the last 2 years. And then it showed, for this neighborhood, things are holding pretty steady. And you click on that, and it shows the whole market of this zip code and what's going on, and talks about homes like theirs. And then what if they wanted to buy another house? With their equity, could they take that and buy their dream home? And it gives details on what you could spend for a dream home. If they took some of that equity to buy an investment property, if they took that equity and just pocketed the cash? What if they took the equity or sold it or rented it out to another? And it gives these different options. What if you put your house on Airbnb? What would you typically rent it for a month? Anyway, so guys, I'm going to open it up to questions before we close out here. And I'm going to show, but here's my contact information. I'm Kevin Gillespie at Lakeway Lending, 512-202-5109. And then I've asked my friend, Ray Daniel, who's been a mentor to me for years and best of friends. We've known each other 30 years. Ray, tell them a little bit about your reverse expertise.
Well, I've been in the mortgage banking business over 40 years. I've been in the reverse side of the mortgage banking business for the last 7 years. I also have a Texas real estate law license, and I've had my own firm doing residential mortgage prep for many, many lenders. But reverse mortgages to me are my opportunity to give back and help seniors to be able to have a better retirement by being able to buy houses, in essence, for 50% down in cash, on them the other 50%, and they never have a mortgage payment the rest of their life. So that, to a 62-year-old, might be living in a house for 30 years without ever having to make a mortgage, reverse mortgage. It's a great way to qualify seniors. Seniors, typically, when you get over 62, 65, 70, your income falls off. I'm able to get people a mortgage loan that can give them, if they're refinancing their house, I can get them a cash out refinance where the new loan that they get that refinance their current conventional mortgage, roll that into a reverse mortgage, also give them cash and a line of credit, and never have a house payment the rest of their life. This can change people's lives. Their sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles. You can think of somebody in your family who might need that opportunity, or a client who you're trying to help in the house. This qualification method literally doubles the capability of what they can buy in terms of dollars. It also helps sellers, because most seniors that want to get out of their big house because it's two-story, it's too much electricity, it's too much taxes, but they don't know where they would go and whether they could be able to afford another house. This allows them to sell their house, take their $200,000 in equity, and go buy a $400,000 house and never have to worry about a mortgage again. So, that's a powerful solution to a senior, maybe one who's lost a spouse. I do a lot of senior ladies, single ladies, and single men that their spouse is no longer with them. And so they're looking for a way to make up for that Social Security check that they lost. So if I can eliminate their mortgage payment, that's like getting a second Social Security check. So anyhow,
Ray?
Yes.
Alfredo's asking, are those programs available today in our current climate? And Kevin, I think Francis had a question that you can answer in a minute too.
Okay.
Yes. Cash out refinances have been harder to get with fewer investors buying those loans. But our program is through the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, and it's totally available to all seniors where the husband and wife are both 62 years old. So we're giving them a cash out, no mortgage payment loan, no personal liability, and it's non-recourse at the end, which means that if they owe more than the house is worth at the end when they pass away, their heirs do not have to pay off the difference. FHA steps in and pays the claim to pay off the lender. So that's the protection that that loan gives you. And yes, it is available. You can also create a line of credit. It's a full-time line of credit for the rest of your life. It actually grows at 3.5% a year for the rest of your life that you can use to access at any time between the age of 62 and 92 or longer if you're still there. So there are a lot of neat things about this program that a lot of people don't know. There's ways to reduce your tax bill to the federal government. There's ways to be able to take money out of IRAs and 401ks and basically offset the taxability of those funds. So,
yeah, so let me, because of time, I'm going to jump in, but here I want to show Ray's contact. And this is a great program, guys. It really helps older folks. So he is.
You got my phone number wrong, Kevin.
Oh, what is it, Ray?
It's 691017. Change the 3 to a 9. There you go.
695-1017. That's better. Okay, good deal. So with that, and then guys, on all your other mortgage needs, financing, we absolutely at Lakeway Lending, we can do it. Now I want to answer the couple of questions. Let's see.
Francis was the first one there, Kevin.
Yeah, what is the name of the Magic app? By Magic app, are you talking about the HomeBot, Francis? I'm going to unmute you. Francis, are you talking about HomeBot?
Yeah, the last app that you shared.
Yeah, it's called HomeBot, HOMEBOT. And like I said, it's a couple $100 a month, but I've got a license with them. I can sign you up and put your picture on it, your number and everything, and it'll cost you $10 a month, your whole database. And every month they'll get an email from you with that. And so if you want, reach back out to me. I'd be more than happy to get you signed up on it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, my team will help you get started. And then there was a couple others. Let's see.
To answer your last question, it's Ray Daniel, no S. Kevin always has to put an S on it, but I tell him that I'm one of a kind, so Ray Daniel.
I put the S on because we need more of you, man.
So it's
okay. And then to Chris, I heard current mortgage minimum credit scores were raised due to the current COVID. Is that true? Like conventional and FHA, no, you can probably get down, Chris, to about 640. They did raise it during COVID. Everything tightened up. We're starting to slowly see things come back. I could do a 640 right now. I think in a couple months we'll be back to 620 and maybe as low as 600, but it's coming back.
On reverse mortgages, we do not look at, and we do not use 43% income ratios.
And can you please send me the info, please? Is it Ray? Daniel, you're right. Okay. Ha. Thanks, Alfredo. We'll get you, Ray will get you that info. We'll be reaching out. So any other questions, guys, before we call it a day? Well, guys, on behalf of Ray, myself, again, we want to help you any way we can, and we just appreciate your time and your attention and your respect. We think the world of you. You help us feed our families, and we really do appreciate you. So we'll be reaching out and staying in touch and hope we get to know you even better.